Fiberglass. I always like to scrape my sides. This is a controversial subject here, fiberglass mesh tape. Just use it. I'm telling you, it works good. I'm going to fiberglass my corner bead. A lot of guys don't do this, but why I do it is so it doesn't pop and crack. We're not totally overlapping the finished edge of it. We're just going to go over the flange that gets mudded. This will prevent any net or bead popping, we call it, cracking, anything on the bead. It's extra credit. Extra credit. You see that? It's not overlapping the finished square edge. It's inside the flange. That's a strong corner bead. So let's go ahead and get all this fiberglass. We're going to get everything scraped in fiberglass. Fiberglass, fiberglass. You could even do paper tape in the angles. I might even do paper tape in these angles since it's a garage. Make it look perfect and clean. So let's go ahead and get all this fiberglassed and then cut our pieces of paper tape for our angles, and then we're going to mud in our angles, pre-fill all of our fiberglass, and then we're going to turn around and do a nice, good first coat. But even though we had to piece those pieces in, the small pieces, no big deal. It's still a nice bench. We used up all of our scrap. That's all I have left, piece of sheetrock. Once I get this all fiberglass, then it's easier just to sweep away your debris. Then we're going to plastic off the area since we're going to do a spray texture. You could have masked beforehand, but I've learned by using sheetrock and tools it tears up your plastic unless you're using a really heavy duty plastic. But that's a nice bench so far. Easy. Even did extra credit with the fiberglass over the square bead, and we did purple board. That's mold resistant sheetrock. You could have did mold sheetrock on all of it, but no big deal. Any gaps, you can put the little piece of sheetrock in, no big deal. We're going to fiberglass, pre-fill all this fiberglass. We're going to mud this whole area. It's just going to be a big mud patch when we're all done. Spray textured. Then they can go ahead and install their new water heater the next day after this dries. But let's go ahead and get this area scraped and fiberglassed. We like to scrape the outside edges to get any boogers off of it so the fiberglass sits nice. Just go ahead and fiberglass your joints. If you have really big gaps, you could even pre-fill the gaps before, but we're going to strike in all these fiberglass mesh tape with a hot mud before I do any heavy coat over it. Any boogers like this, loose papers, that's what you're scraping off to get off. The fiberglass mesh tape has a nice little stickiness to it, so it sticks to it. Sometimes you can even do a spray glue on it. That gap piece around the pipe, I had no choice but to make that bigger than it should have been to get that valve passed. Ball joint valve for the gas line. Just go ahead and fiberglass mesh it around it. You can also use a paper tape if you want to use a paper tape. Any gaps, no big deal. Fiberglass this part, and then I'm going to fiberglass my corner bead. And then I'm going to go cut paper tape. I'm going to use paper tape. This is a good job. I like to do paper tape and angles once in a while, when, at least in garage stuff, it's more of a fire rated protection. Fire taping is what they call it. We have paper tape on hand, so we're just going to use it just for the angles to get a nice 90-degree angle. You could also use fiberglass tape like I do on some of my patches, but since this is a garage, I'm just going to use a paper tape on the box angles. Fiberglass all your corner bead. Double check everything. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Paper tape. I don't use a lot of it, but I might use it for garages and angles, the 90-degree angles. What I like to do is just do a pre-layout of my lengths. Tear it, double check that it's long enough or too long, cut it so it's ready to rock and roll. And then I'll just put it to the side after I crease it at a 90-degree. So I got that angle. Crease it at a 90-degree. There's already a crease, factory crease in it, so I'm just going to fold the crease. That gives us a nice 90-degree. Lay it out. It's easier to do this now than when you're working with mud. You kind of lay them out how they're going to lay. Same here, same length. Reason I don't use paper tape on all the rest of the joints, because the paper tape does tend to crack out. I like to use it in angles once in a while to get perfect 90-degree angles. So kind of lay it out. I got one more here. I'm just pre-cutting, basically, getting it ready for me. So I got that angle, that angle, that angle, and that angle. So I got 1, 2. Alright, time to clean up. Before you mud, always clean up your area. Now it's time to put plastic down, tarps or whatever to catch your mud. But let's go ahead and get this area cleaned up, get ready for the mudding process. Tape these angles to the wall angles, get them mudded in, then we're going to pre-fill, strike in all the fiberglass mesh tape, and then we're going to turn around and do a nice first coat with the hot mud. Got it all masked off. I didn't want to bore you with watching me mask it off. I use paper masking, you use plastic or whatever. That's just to contain your mud. I don't want mud everywhere. So we're just going to mix some mud right now. I'm not going to mix a full pan. I'm just going to mix enough mud to do the angles. 5 minute. If you're not good with hot muds, just use a joint compound. If you use a joint compound, you have to let them dry overnight. I have a bucket of 5 minutes. I've got a bucket of 20 minutes. But with this one, I'm going to use some 5 minute. So let's go ahead and mix it up. I'm going to mix it up with the pan and my knife. Pretty simple mixing process in the pan. Let's go ahead and mix up a half a pan or so. Now I'm going to do a full pan. 6-inch knife. Don't fill the pan all the way to the top. You want some breathing room here. 3/4 pan of powder. Fresh water. Do one nice full sponge, maybe 2. I'm going to mix it up. Don't slop it around. Don't make a mess. Just kind of toss it around. If you think you put too much water in, you could add more powder or just dump off some. Just mix it up. I don't want it wet, dripping wet mud. I don't want it thick, but I'm also doing paper tape angles, so I don't want it like a first coat mud. I want it more like a single coat texture consistency. I don't want that paper tape bulging out because there's too much heavy mud behind it. Mix it up. Sometimes take the 6-inch knife, scrape your sides. Get it all of it mixed in. Once it mixes good, it's creamy. It's not super thin, not super thick. Also, here's a tool. Some guys like to use this for the angles. This is kind of tricky. I might do it with the mud with the 6-inch knife, and then I might follow it through and trowel it down an angle like that to get a nice 90-degree tape. But let's go ahead and get the tape. And basically just going to do the angles first. Put the mud in the angle. Mud in the angle. You want plenty of mud. Don't leave gaps. You need all mud on it. Or you could strike it in, whatever's easiest. This piece fits nicely. Take one side. Take the other side. I don't really like the tool. I like it more for coating, not for pressing down tape. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to put mud over the angle itself, and then I'm going to follow through, and this is going to be almost like some taping and coating. That's a nice angle. Your outside edge, just feather it off, feather it off. That's a nice angle, I can just let that be. Same thing with my bottom angle. Plenty of mud. I don't want no gaps in the mud because I don't want blisters. Another piece of tape already cut out. Get it right in that corner, right at a 90-degree where that crease is. Take your 6-inch knife. Wipe it down. You're pushing down hard. You're getting that extra mud out of there. Get that mud out of there. Get that mud out of there. If there's any gaps in there, you're going to have to lift up the tape and get mud behind it. Get it pressed down. That's nice white tape. I'm going to strike it in. I'm going to strike it in with mud. Just use this tool. You don't have to do this step. I'm just kind of getting a nice coat on it for now. That 90-degree tool does all the work. Corners, they call these picking corners. You kind of want to do a nice corner, picking your corner. Any edges, just follow it through. Like right there, I just ruined it with the 6, so I'm going to follow it through with this tool. Let it be, let it be. Do another angle here. I'm trying to hold the camera and do this. I'm trying to show you guys while I'm working with both my hands here. I'm trying to work one-handed. Get that tape in there. Corner really well. Take your 6-inch knife. One side with the corner, take off that extra mud, take off other detail, you might work around it. That looks good. I'm going to follow the tool. Strike it with your 6. Strike it with your 6. For alright, now you got your angles done, leftover mud in here. Let's strike in our fiberglass. Bead. I got plenty here. Go ahead and let me coat it out. Of course, I'm using hot mud. Comfortable mudding, just use a joint compound. Joint compounds have to dry overnight, no problem if you have time. See, it's already looking good. Let me get this area coated here. Mud's starting to set up, so hurry up and use it up as much as you can so we don't waste any material. Setting up. up. So yeah, so I'm taking my angles that I just did and follow it with the sponge. This is only done with hot muds, not done with regular muds. Regular muds you would sand in between coats, but I'm following the angle while the angle's still damp on the extra. For texture, I just slick it out, but I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna coat all these fiberglass seams I did, put a second coat on the corner bead. We're gonna let that set up. Alright, second coat. Do 1.5 sponges this time. You work with quick set muds, sometimes you gotta work faster than you should. And to get it out of flow gear, work fast. Mix it up fast, put the mud on fast, keep your tools cleaned up. That way you can turn around and flip it out. So it sets up. If you are going to use hot muds, maybe you can 20 or 40 minutes, give yourself plenty of time. My best friend. Mixed up, if it's too thick, just add a little bit of water, sprinkle it in. 12-inch coating knife. Let's go ahead and get this coated out. Get these tools cleaned up. Always clean up your tools when you're done using them. Just don't put them to the side. Hot mud 5 minute. I don't need it. If I need to, I'll touch up with regular joint compound. Keep your tools clean, they'll last a long time. Mud's caked on there, I'll scrape it off. Sometimes you have to scrape it. Keep your tools clean, they'll last a long time. Tools clean, will last a long time. This metal pan's an 18-inch pan. Geez, I've had this thing I'd say about five years or more. I just clean it up. Sometimes if mud does get caked in there, I might spray some oil in there and just let the oil penetrate the stuck on mud, and then I'll chisel it out because it likes to get in the corners, especially when you work with hot muds. The only time I replace the pans is when they start getting really bowed like that. But they last a long time. Alright, once you get your tools cleaned up, pretty much the mud's going to be setting up, so let's go slick out our work over here. You have to slick it out with these hot muds. Slick out technique. Double check, yeah, this is dry. I like to run my hand on it, lap mark like that. It's dry to touch. I like to work the angles first. You follow it with the sponge inside that 90-degree angle, you get a nice 90-degree angle. I would say it's compared to like working with clay, ceramics, cement, and manipulating materials. It becomes an art. This is artwork we're doing. Manipulating, taking off that mud. Get out there. Corner bead. Just go through. Turning into another coat. I'm using that mud on here that I'm slicking out and coating more and more and more. If you wanted perfection, perfect, you would follow through and do a third coat. If you want really perfection, do a fourth coat, really tight skin coat of joint compound. But sometimes putting too much mud on is not a good thing. You just want to fill in the areas. You still got to do a layer of texture. You got a lot of layers of mud on here. Basically coating what needs to be coated. That's it. Not just pile up a bunch of material on the wall. Angles. Any trouble areas, just double check. This is your chance to go over everything you've done and work it. Work it. Around your detail. Movers. Any imperfections, you're going to have to turn around and do another coat, but this is looking pretty good. Pretty good. Nice clean square corner. Looking really good. Let's go ahead and get ready for texture. Let that dry some more, a few more minutes while we get ready for texture. I don't need my coat tools no more. Done. Mud. Joint compounds used for mud. Texture's ready. These are out of the way. I gotta unlock this, get my next thing ready. Air compressor. I don't care what tools you think you gotta use. You need to use a spray compressor. This is a garage, so I gotta find power. I got power there, so I'm in good shape. So let's go ahead and get your air compressor ready. Hopper, middle tip, mud's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and spray texture this. Check this angle out here. 6-inch knife, sponge. Area really good. We're going to let that dry for overnight. Turn around sand, primer, then paint. Install their water heater. All cleaned up, just let this thing dry. Came here early in the morning, got it all drywalled and repaired before late morning, so that'll give it good time to dry. Homeowner can get this to dry. Get a quick coat of primer on it or paint, and then they can reset their water heater. That's basically a water heater stand, getting it all sheetrock, tape coated and textured with a spray knockdown. A lot of work for these. I don't understand why they do it with sheetrock, but it is what it is, and it's complete. It's a pretty good job working around that, the pipe. Got it all cleaned up. They finished it down to the floor, so they can do baseboard later, but at least it's a nice finish for now until they get ready to do the wood trim. The wood trim is cosmetic, especially in the garage. Now they can put their our water heater. Maybe get a new pan. Pan goes on top. Water heater hooked up. There you go. Got it all completed and textured. All repaired. Thumbs up. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Leave me a comment. The only problems I had with this was just piecing in that little piece there and that piece there and working around it, but that's no big deal. But look at the finished product. That's all that matters. Hey, thanks for viewing. Got it all textured, cleaned up. Looks great. Spray knockdown. Got it done early in the morning, so now we're going to let it to dry so the plumber can come and reinstall the water heater. It's a lot of work for a water heater stand. The only issues I had, of course, was just putting a little piece there and piece there, but overall, perfect job. Just let that dry. Looks good working around these pipes. Nice square corner bead. That corner came out awesome. So it's pretty good for garage water heater stand. Hey, if you haven't liked this video, you need to like it. You need to comment, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you are a subscriber, hey, thanks for viewing, supporting the channel. I'm going to be making several videos. I try to make these videos while I'm working in the field. Sometimes they're easy to make the videos, sometimes not. I'm not doing this at my home. I'm on the job working by myself. So I'm trying to work with these hands and record at the same time, just myself. Alright, so I hope you liked it. Easy enough. Patching it in. Sheetrock, tape, coat, and texture. Got this done in less than 2 hours.